It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. It's time to get right into it as we have a look firstly to start things off with Eastern Eyre Netball. And we're joined by Joe Franklin. G'day, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks. And you?
I'm doing okay today. It's going to be another big show. Lots going on. And before we can get into what happened or what's going to be this weekend, what a weekend last weekend, hey?
Oh, it was just finals full on everywhere. Crazy time. But what a perfect day, or a perfect weekend, really, for finals. It was just fantastic, really. Eastern Eyre were very lucky. They had their first semi and they played in absolutely perfect weather. So they were pretty happy with that. And I'll start with the little E2s. With the first semi, Eastern in the E2, Rangers 26 defeated Ports 8. In the E grade, Central Eyre United 18 lost to Ports 22. So it was good to see Ports get a win with their junior grades. It's always good to see them get a win somewhere. Yep. The D grade, Central Eyre United 54 defeated Ports 37. Pretty high scoring for a D grade game, for a 15 and unders game. So, but Central Eyre United certainly happy with the win there. C2, Ports 29 lost to Cow 32. So Cow were happy to come away with a win. In the C grade, Central Eyre United 33 defeated Kimber 25, and in the B grade, Central Eyre United 55 defeated Cow 23, and then we got to the A grade where Central Eyre United 70 defeated Cow 22. A little bit of a sad end to the Cow girls season, but what it does mean is that Central Eyre United certainly have put the foot to the floor with the finals, and are certainly looking forward to this week. Look, the two Bruce girls, Abby and Keely, in defence were just phenomenal as normal down there. And Rani Tomney, a young goaler, is really standing up through there. And their centre court is just, they've been able to settle it down now, get it together, and able to get everybody on the court at one time, and certainly ready to go all the way, I think. They believe that they can, and that's what you have to have, the belief. And so it'll be really interesting to see. It'll be a very interesting game this week, because the results then in the second semi-final, Rangers 48 defeated Kimber. Where are we at? E2. Kimber 13 lost to Central Eyre United.
I was going to say, start with the Little East first. Come on.
Yeah, we will. E grade, Kimber 34 defeated Rangers 28. In the D grade, Kimber 47 defeated Rangers 40. In the C2, Central Eyre United 39 defeated Rangers 28. In the C grade, Rangers 39 defeated Cow 35. That was quite an interesting game there too, actually, quite close, which was good for them. In the B grade, Kimber 53 defeated Rangers 24, which was a bigger margin than what we would have thought it was going to be. But Kimber were pretty happy with that effort. And then in the A grade, Rangers 48 defeated Kimber 34. All in all, a pretty good game. I think we speak about it every week. The height that the Rangers team have is just incredible. Like they're deep, and they really put together a really nice little defensive unit. And we talk about the unit because that's how it has to be when you're in defence. You've got to work together. And Shani and Jordan Hooper and Aaron Roberts have certainly developed a really nice little defensive unit and are making it very difficult for opposition attack lines. And young Lucy Klingberger for Kimber really did find it just a little bit difficult against all that height. And then, through the centre court as well, Rangers have just got a little bit of pace. Saran, for Kimber, she works really hard week in, week out. And then, of course, Rangers have the height in the circle as well with Nicole and Lauren Symes. And so that was a pretty tough day at the office for Shiley Harris and Whistle Dart. But, they'll come up this week and in the prelim and see how they go. And Rangers will just sit back there waiting for the following week to see who they will play in the grand final.
Yes, they'll just be dusting their nails off, getting ready for the following week. Yeah, I can see them happening. But it was great netball action, and I think what was really exciting for just fans was knowing that the A grade results kind of went to form, but the way that some of those other grades and the tightness of some of them really, absolutely. As a spectator, there's lots to see and lots to enjoy with the last couple of weeks coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And great that the wins were shared around between the clubs as well. But all of the clubs still have somebody involved, which is really good for the time of the year. It's fantastic. So, lots for people to go and have a look at this week. This week, prelim final, Arno Bay are hosting the prelim finals, and they will start at 9:30 with the Eyre grade, where Eastern Rangers will take on Port. So, I'm sure that all the Port people will get behind their young ones, seeing as the game is at Arno Bay. They'll get there nice and early and give them a big cheer on. 10:45 will be the D grade. Eastern Rangers will take on Central Eyre United. At 11 o'clock, the E2, Kimber will take on Eastern Rangers. At 12:15, the first of the senior grades, the C2, Eastern Rangers will take on Cow, which will be an interesting game. It'll be, that'll be on, because both of those sides have got some quite talented, I'm not going to say older, but a little bit more experienced players, maybe.
A little bit more experience, okay.
Word. At 12:30, the B grade, Eastern Rangers take on Central Eyre United. At 1:45, the C grade, Cow take on Central Eyre United. Now, there's been some very interesting tussles with these sides throughout the season, and not many goals between them. And I know that Cow really do want to get through here, because they want to have another crack at Eastern Rangers, but Central Eyre United certainly have found their form at the right end of the season in that grade. So, that could be a very interesting game. And that will bring us through to 3 o'clock, where the A grade, Kimber, will take on Central Eyre United. Now, Central Eyre United, 70 goals last week. You can't beat that score. That was a big scoreline. But Kimber, coming off of that loss, they they really have struggled this year to get the same 7 out on the court for more than 2 weeks in a row, and that is probably telling for them this year, because they're really not used to that. They also weren't used to putting together a whole new side that they've sort of really had to do this year, having a few missing. Central Eyre United, and to combat Central Eyre's height will also be an issue for them, because, as I said, they're quite tall. The Bruce girls in defence are very tall, very strong, and at the same time quite quick and read the ball really well as well. So, I honestly think that Central Eyre United could win this game and could end up playing Eastern Rangers in the final. And the Storm, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, it may well be brewing.
Yes, the Storm's been brewing. I mentioned it last week, and I'm feeling exactly the same this week. And I know which way I'm leaning, Joe. Which way are you leaning?
I actually am going to lean Central Eyre United's way.
Okay. Well, we're both leaning the same way. Let's hope we don't tip things over. But
there's no way that, Kimber will have worked really hard this week. Megan Lena would have worked really hard with her girls this week. She certainly will be going into the game with a game plan and hoping that the girls can stick to it. I just think Zeke might have the Central Eyre girls peaking at the right time of the season.
Totally agree. As we move across the Great Flinders and last week, Joe, and what happened to my Lock girls?
Well, we'll start with the E grade. Ramblers 25 defeated Eyre United 19. In the D grade, Elliston 46 defeated Tumby Bay 24. In the B reserves, Tumby Bay 39 defeated Lock 34. As you can see, that was a pretty close game actually. In the B grade, Tumby Bay 53 defeated Eyre United 37. In the A reserves, Lock 53 defeated United Gelana 49, which was a really interesting game. Lock certainly have had a few ring-ins throughout the season, and they have, settled down a side for the finals. United Gelana, Heather certainly has been working hard with those girls too. But it was in the end, Lock got over the line, so it was, and they're pretty happy about that. There's no question about that. And in the A grade, oh my goodness, what a game! This was just an amazing game.
Yes,
and it was up. It was up and it was down and it was even and it was change of leads throughout the whole game. Look. The Lock goalers, Lisa Burrows and Jordan Slater, started off really well. Then the Elliston defence line, we talk about it all the time. Kelsey Hull and Nikki Schubert, they just really started to pace it up and they started getting on top. Lock then decided that they might have a little change in the goal circle and swapped Ellen Reid into there. And in the end, they decided, no, that wasn't quite right either, so they went back to their starting goalies. But look, I've talked about it all second. Kelsey Hull and Nikki Schubert are an awesome defence unit. Having said that, go down the other end. And look, the lock defenders, Whitney Wright, Ellison actually hadn't come up against her before, but she's a Rambler girl who's headed out to lock to play, and her and Sarah Skinner have combined together really nicely as well and made it really hard for Courtney Hull and Zali Ramsey. And so it was really a battle of both ends, and they just hoped that the girls in the middle could get the ball to their goalies, and and there's plenty of speed through there as well. Look, Millie Morton had a good game for lock as well through the centre, and honestly, 37-36 is
one
to
goal.
lose a final by one goal is just heart-wrenching, especially when it's a knockout final.
Yeah, so when I saw the result, and I was like, oh, no, and they've sort of built momentum and going, but that's finals, and that's what happens, and yeah, it's no fun when it does happen, but it can happen, and
it can.
They'll learn from it and fight another day.
Yeah, the one thing that Locke are pretty pleased about, or that Lisa Burrows, as the coach, is pretty happy about, is that she will actually get to keep most of that side. So it will actually be a building. It will be a building process, which is great. That if you can back up at least the second year, then you're sort of halfway there. So for her, I hope that is the case because they certainly have been on the improve this year, no question about that. But look, Ellison, they were able to get their top full seven on the court, and they, in the end, just showed that they had what it took to get over the line, and they will live to fight another day.
All right, and on to this weekend, and it's at Kapini, and it's Tumby Bay taking on Cummins Kapini.
Yeah, it is. And there's some other interesting games throughout the day there too.
Yeah, let's look at those.
Clayton, E grade 10:15. Lock will take on Tumby Bay. 12 o'clock will be the D grade where Ramblers will take on United Gelana. B reserves is at 1:30. Elliston will take on United Gelana. 3 o'clock for the B grade. Lock versus Elliston. A reserves will be at 1:30 where Cougars will take on Elliston. And yes, the big A grade game 3 o'clock with Tumby Bay taking on Cougars. And look, earlier in the season we would have been saying that Tumby Bay certainly had the goods and that they would be the one to beat. And then you have Cougars who have just come together in the last couple of games, as they tend to do. And look, this will be a great game, a game that people want to get along and have a look at because there's some real talent on show, some young talent as well. Young Sarah Laurie for Tumby Bay is a fantastic up-and-coming goaler, and then they also have Maisie Curtis, who has been playing up there as well. And then for the Cougar side, you've got the young defenders as well in Holly Gale, who's had a really good season for Cougars. So and then they've got their goal circle. Hannah Green is a young one as well. So there's some young talent, but then you've also got your experience. You've got the Ilka Stones back in the goal shooter for Tumby Bay. You've got Jet Greens for Cougars. So, yeah, look, there's a real mixture in both sides, and I just think that this game will really go down to the line, a bit like last week's game. But, I don't know. I might
Come on.
stick with you. I know.
Come on.
But I'm just thinking that I would stick with Ilka. We'll hope that our ex-way backer will be able to get Tumby over the line.
All right, well, I'll go the opposite way. I'll go for Cummins.
Good job.
Yeah, makes it interesting, doesn't it?
It does.
That's how you want it.
It will be a really interesting. I really do think it will be a very interesting game. And look, like I said, there's some real great young talent on show, and then both sides have got that bit of experience in there as well, which is always a really good blend when you're putting an A-grade side together. So a great game for people to get along and have a look at.
Absolutely. Anything else, Joe, before we wrap it up?
Everybody travel safe, and again, let's remember to respect the umpires. They're out there doing their job and the best that they possibly can, and let's all enjoy the day.
Absolutely. All right, well, you enjoy it as well. I know you will be, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things go, and then we'll have a good conversation about it coming up next week.
We certainly will.